So we are in our masterclass mode. We're moving forward with chapter 9. But before we get into the chapter, we received a question this week, so I want to tap into the question. Also, I want to make sure that everyone saw this. If you're on Facebook, you probably didn't see it. So how did you make space for stillness in this past week? How did you make space for divine guidance? Last week, we were talking about the wisdom concept, right? This idea of not only just affirming the divine plan, but then making ourselves available to hear the wisdom of God within us and to be guided in those beautiful and profound ways. So we see many of you are already adding that in the chat, in the comments, but by all means continue to share that. And if you have a pic of your practice setup, I don't think you can add pics on YouTube, but if you're on Facebook, you can add a pic. By all means, share that. So again, we do have a question, and it was related to the wisdom concept in the previous chapter, because Catherine Ponder is talking a lot about meditation, right? And sitting in meditation and sitting in the silence and practicing the presence to receive inner guidance and inner wisdom and to know what's next. And so we received this question. I often find my mind wandering during meditation. It's constantly thinking about my to-do list. This usually leads to frustration and makes me give up on the practice. Any advice or tips you might have would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so first thing is to remind you of what PY says each week. I just heard her say it during the meditation about if your mind wanders.
It's okay.
Right. And I think the reason why we cannot say that enough, and unfortunately there are only a few people that really talk about this a lot, is recognizing what meditation really is, right? There is this idea that meditation is clearing your mind. That's not what meditation is, y'all. And I know that's been out there for a long time, and you probably learned that so long ago, you don't even know where you heard or learned that.
And there are some practices that try to do that.
Right. But you can literally never truly do that, right? In meditation, part of what we're doing as we are, from the scientific perspective, as we are moving out of fight, flight, or freeze, which is associated with the amygdala, and strengthening the connection between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, which is the executive functioning aspect of our mind, the CEO of the mind, as Bob Roth loves to call it, right? Then what we're able to do is the executive can say, hey, everybody, come back to, this is what we're doing over here. We're focusing on divine love prospers me now, right? And then people go off and they get on something else. They get distracted, to-do lists, etc. Hey, everybody, divine love prospers me now. This is the vision. This is the goal for the organization, which is you, right? And so in meditation, we're learning how to do that, right? And we're strengthening that thing. It's within us already, right? We're strengthening that capability to do that. So the first piece is to be in non-judgment. Your to-do list is going to come up. That's normal.
Your to-do list, what you ate, what you want to eat.
What you're going to eat later, right?
Right. All that stuff comes up.
Yeah.
And what you're learning, as PG said, is you're learning how to be kind to your wandering mind and to not judge any thought. And that's so powerful, because we spend so much conscious time judging ourselves and our thought. And then you go into meditation and you do the same thing.
Right.
That's not beneficial. I like to use that word, beneficial.
Yeah.
It doesn't create the environment that PG is talking about. It doesn't create the connection. It doesn't create the mental strength that you want.
Now, I love Maharishi Mahesh Yogi and teaching transcendental meditation. There's a phrase we receive and hear all the time, right?
Because that's what I was going to say.
Right. Take it easy. Take it as it comes.
Yes.
Now, one of the ways that you can do this, if you're kind of geeky like me, I like to do. So if you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or some wearable that tracks your heart rate, I challenge you to do this because it's fascinating. I've done this many times. I track my heart rate and I see where my heart rate was before I started meditation. And I'm thinking a lot of thoughts in my meditation, which would make it seem like this thing, I'm not really meditating. I'm not reaching any point of stillness. But when the meditation is over, and again, just 5 minutes, 10 minutes max, and then I check my heart rate after that 5 or 10 minutes, my heart rate is lowered. That is an outer signal and actually a better indicator of if something is actually working.
Yeah, because I hate the word working, but it's an indicator of where you are and are you receiving the benefits from it.
Exactly. Because I was thinking a lot of thoughts. That's not going to tell you if it's really working. And that's the wrong measuring stick, right? That's leading you to frustration.
And your heart rate goes up.
Exactly. Right. So it's there are other devices out there. There's so many other really cool devices that'll like measure your brainwave patterns, alpha, theta, all beta, all of that, right? There's you can, buy stuff if you want to, but if you have that, the point that I'm making here is that I was thinking a bunch of thoughts is just not a helpful indicator.
Right.
And that's normal. You're supposed to think thoughts. You wouldn't be alive if you weren't thinking thoughts. Right.
And as I like to also say, as when you become aware and you choose to come back to the affirmative thought, then you're sending your thinking in a direction. Mm-hmm. But you don't try to even hang on to that. Mm-hmm. You even allow that to be released as you sink deeper and deeper and deeper. Mm-hmm. This is such a great question because I think many times we judge our meditation and therefore we don't do it.
Right.
Or we try to do it too long and we're not trained for length yet. Mm-hmm. That's why 5 minutes is ideal, especially in the beginning, because you might even not be able to relax that way for 2 minutes, right? So we want to create something that is supportive of you doing the practice, of you getting the long-term benefit of the practice. We talked last week about then what happens, how do you come out of it? What happens in your life because you took those 5 minutes to connect, right? That's all the things that are the real benefits. It's not whether your mind is thinking or not.
And last thing I'll say this for my neurodivergent folks, because there's lots of research that's been done on this now, is that a lot of times the best thing for us to do before meditation is some type of physical activity. So there's some wonderful studies that were done with teenagers, so-called troubled kids, right? And they went to this special camp. And so the mindfulness teachers and the meditation teachers, they let the students just run and climb trees and ride mopeds and like do these like high, seemingly high stimulus, adrenaline rush kind of things. And then they sit in stillness for 5 minutes and they can do it, right? That has a lot to do with how the neurodivergent brain works. So this, again, for someone who, if you may find yourself, I just can't get still, or I feel like I'm thinking too many thoughts, you can do even something as simple as just jumping jacks for like 60 seconds, honestly, and then sit, right?
Right. And very for the rest of us, it's often paired yoga or a gentle flow, like even for 5 minutes of yoga, a gentle flow that relaxes you, prepares you, and does that similar idea so that you can sit, so that you can settle. In TM, there's a specific flow that is used right before we do TM. Some people use it, some people don't. But it's that same idea that if you connect it to your body and release some energy to move, even if it's for 5 minutes, it doesn't have to be something grand, some amazing yoga class.
Right.
But just that gentle little bit of movement and connection to breath that you begin to embody and realize how the breath flows and it relaxes you, and then you can go into your 5 minutes. So it doesn't have to be long. It could just be a couple of good stretches if that works for you. Something that gets you in your body and your breath and connecting the two. And then go into the meditation And always remember to be kind to your wandering mind. This is a great question.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great question, and I hope it answers the person who sent that in. But for some of us, it also clears it up. You're not doing it wrong.
Right.
We've been so trained and taught that if we don't do it right, it doesn't work. And when it comes to meditation, we're telling you you're not doing it right. You're not doing it wrong. Your mind will wander, and you also have control over where the mind goes.
To bring it back.
To bring it back to where you want it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Great question.
Beautiful. So let's get into this chapter. We are in chapter 9, and just so everyone knows, right, there are 10 chapters plus a conclusion. So that means we have 2 more weeks in our masterclass. Prosperity through the love concept, chapter 9.
There's that word again, love, love, love.
To practice consistently the love concept is one of the quickest ways to overcome all your difficulties and demonstrate your spiritual heritage of unlimited good. I'll just say this at the outset. So much of what Catherine Ponder gave us in part 1, this was about that really I'll say master, but the manifestor stage, really the manipulator stage, right? We're using all of these tools. What the first part of the book was really about, and for those of you who years ago studied E Squared with us or have read E Squared, it was doing what Pam Grout was really trying to support the reader in doing with the early experiments. So the first experiment is the dude abides, right? It's just like to just prove that there's this thing that responds to you, right? And so that's why you set the intention of, seeing cars of a certain color. You set an intention to see butterflies. And you're starting to just realize and honor and recognize that there's something responding to you. And that's what all of those part 1 exercises are about. But in part 2, what we're now really getting into is an embodied way of living.
Yep.
Right? So prosperity through the divine plan, prosperity through the wisdom concept, prosperity through the love concept. These are now how do you live and how do you operate so that you're not trying to, like the only word I can think of, right? Manipulate, right? You're not using these tools in a manipulative fashion. You're simply living from this awareness of your oneness with Source, and from this awareness that because I am one with God, prosperity is available to me, not as a reward, any more than oxygen is a reward, right? It just is, because I'm human and I'm here on earth, I breathe in and I breathe out, right? And actually, whether I'm a good person or a bad person, I still have access to this thing, right? Very, very important. So I just want to remind us of that. Since the word concept means something conceived in the mind, the way to practice the love concept is to become filled with the idea of love inwardly and then express it both inwardly and outwardly. This releases a high-powered energy that is instantly felt and responded to by people and situations.
And I also want to point out, we're not talking about sentimentality here.
Right, she's going to get into that.
Yeah. It's a deeper understanding of what love is. The word represents or points to God, union.
World-renowned sociologists made experiments in the power of love at Harvard University several decades ago. They predicted that bombarding people in situations with thoughts of love could become a universal prescription for curing the world's ills. There are those people who read self-help books and take numerous success courses who get the idea that mind power is all there is, that if they just use mind power sufficiently, everything will come their way. For a time, they might seem right. They can produce tremendous results through the power of thought and through using its techniques as described in some of the foregoing chapters. The time usually comes, though, when they realize that mind power is not enough and they begin to spin their wheels spiritually. Many of you have been or are in this situation. Many of you came to this masterclass desperate because mind power was seeming to run out. It wasn't enough. And it's not that mind power is not enough. It's that it wasn't rooted and grounded in love. Mm-hmm. It wasn't rooted and grounded in oneness, right? It was, again, manipulative.
And most of the time, your own willpower is not the same as divine power.
Yeah. In your own life, you may go through periods when truth principles no longer seem to work for you sufficiently. If so, it may be that you need to use them more lovingly. The mind's eternal duty is to express in love. This is the great lesson that mind has to learn, the lesson of love. Mind power can become unbalanced when it is not used lovingly. This is what George Lucas is exemplifying in Star Wars via the use and misuse of the Force, right? It can become unbalanced, right? It actually kills the person inside. This is why I get it. People love Darth Vader as their favorite character. That entire suit was his lungs. It was breathing for him because he was a withered, shriveled, nothing human person, right? Because of this misuse of mind power. It was unbalanced, right? And so this is very important for us to understand. This is also why I'm thinking about Reverend Michael envisioning, right? Our only purpose is to love and be an expression of love. We're not learning these principles and these teachings, or we're not teaching these principles for the amassing of things. That's not it, right? Yes, the mission and vision of CSC is very clear, right? Equip humanity to live their greatest lives. But before that is embody unconditional love, right? Awaken the world to the presence and power of God within and all around them, right? Celebrate this truth as one family. Embody unconditional love. Equip humanity to live their greatest lives and serve all creation, right? So it's rooted and grounded in love, these principles, and of course the mission of CSC. Practicing the love concept can do more to help you achieve your goals than all of the hard mental effort in the world. I'm going to read that again because this sounds counterintuitive. It even sounds counter to part one, but she just explained to you. Practicing the love concept can do more to help you achieve your goals than all the hard mental effort in the world. If you get too tense about what you want out of life and try to force it into manifestation mentally, you can actually repel the very good you are trying to manifest.
I hope everyone highlights that whole paragraph because it's important, cause and effect. Many of you are experiencing like, I feel like I'm hitting a brick wall, You're trying too hard. Or you're trying to manipulate because unconsciously you're afraid that you can't have what you say you want.
Use of the love concept magnetically draws your good to you in countless ways. This method takes the strain out of demonstrating your good. You can begin invoking the love concept by meditating upon the biblical statement, God is love. Dwelling often on this statement keeps you from becoming too cold or unloving. It can also cause a marvelous transformation to take place in you and your world. Invoking the love concept releases a certain kind of vibration that people appreciate and respond to. Dwelling on the love concept makes you a magnet for your good.
Absolutely.
Believing this, a businesswomen's group decided to spend some time at their monthly meetings for an entire year affirming love for the club and its members. This was to be their experiment in proving the power of the love concept as a success principle. Within a short time after the first meeting, when they affirmed words of love, several of these middle-aged businesswomen got married. One career woman had been widowed for 25 years, but soon married happily and went off to Southern California to live with her husband in a beautiful new home he provided for her near the sea. So many women in that group got married during that year of affirming love that they had to reorganize the whole club. The love concept works in both personal and impersonal ways. As we use it, it often brings new people and experiences into our life. It also releases more harmony and peace into our already established relationships. Love concept develops a harmonious attitude. People sometimes hesitate to use the love concept because they think that to become filled with the thought of love is to become filled with a gushing kind of emotionalism. So this is people, I already spoke to it, but this is an important distinction, right? That I hear Reverend Michael in my head right now. It's not that syrupy, sweet sentimentality, right? That's not what it is, right? He calls it gushing kind of emotionalism. That's a whole nother thing, and I believe we have a sermon series on it. Misunderstanding what love is really all about in all relationships. right? In all relationships. I think that's the one, Write Your Own Love Song, is in that series where we talked about that. But love is sincere, often quiet. A gushing sort of emotionalism isn't true love because it isn't sincere. Its expression doesn't fool anyone for long. Hello, somebody. Famed psychologist Erich Fromm describes the love concept simply. Love shows itself as a harmonious attitude toward life.
And I would say with life too.
Yeah, and that's a prosperous way of thinking about, or that's a prosperous way of thinking, actually, right? Prosperity according to hope, believing and trusting that all will go well with you. That's a prosperity mindset. So when you have a harmonious attitude toward life, things are always working out for me. That's a harmonious attitude toward life, right? Nothing but good can come from this. That's a harmonious attitude toward life. Psychologists state that one reason for mental illness, family problems, health problems, or financial failure is that many people do not have enough give ability toward life. They have a rigid set of rules about how life and people are supposed to be. When people and conditions do not measure up to their rigid rules, they criticize, condemn, find fault, resist, and resent. They are inharmonious, unloving, and unhappy. This leads to all kinds of problems, and they wonder why life never becomes what they want it to be. I think this is interesting. PY and I were talking the other day. I think that a lot of what this love concept, as Catherine Ponder is teaching it, is really about is the law of non-resistance. Mm-hmm. We also have a sermon series on that. And I know that right now there's a book that's popular. Many of you may have it or have read it, Let Them by Mel Robbins. It's a new way of articulating, right? It's just a 21st century way of articulating the ancient principle, the ancient understanding of this practice of non-resistance, right? Non-resistance is embodied in the statement, all of life is a movement toward our wholeness, right? And so if you know that song, right, what I'm writing about in that song is the idea of, can you hear the knocking at your door, right? Don't open the door to life. Don't be afraid, right? That's a way of living in harmony with life because I recognize that all of life is a movement toward my wholeness. I'm choosing not to live in resistance. I have a note here. Abraham Hicks outlines 3 universal laws that we must all know and understand. And the law of allowing is articulated this way. Freedom is the basis of all life. I am as I am, a free being, and I allow other beings to be free as well, knowing that the life they live cannot create in my experience unless I allow it. So then I'm not in this rigid rules place that she's talking about, criticizing, condemning, finding fault, resisting, and resenting. And so this is what I think this really dovetails so beautifully with the wisdom concept because it is operating in wisdom.
And as wisdom.
Right? Mm-hmm. And now we're talking about operating in and as love, right? It's not that we have lots of issues with what's happening in the world, right? From the White House to Gaza and everything in between, right? But we understand what is ours to do and we understand where our power is, right? And so we're not giving away our power to folks outside of us, right? But we're actually tapping in, again, using the wisdom concept. Then we can say, okay, well, what is mine to do? From this place, I see what's going on. How can I be the change, right? Let it start with me, right? Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. What more can I give? Right? And from that place, I get to transform the world from my center point in the world.
Absolutely. And so if those thoughts about I'm not doing enough and on it goes, that puts you in a place of actually fear. Mm-hmm. And then you begin to react to things as opposed to respond from this wisdom concept, respond from the love that is already in you, and then let that decide what your outer expressions are. Mm-hmm. So we're not saying you don't do something, but you don't do it from fear. And you don't do it from how you thought it was supposed to be or what other people have done. Because many times they're not operating from wisdom and love either. They just did stuff.
I'm thinking about, as I'm reading that sentence again, this leads to all kinds of problems, and they wonder why they never become what they want it to be. Life never becomes what they want it to be. We have this term, we say it all the time, that somebody worried themselves sick, right? So we recognize that any energy that we're in, right? If I'm worried about what's going on, I'm worrying myself sick. I'm the one that's going to be suffering. Yes, I think I'm looking outside and I'm worried because I see someone else suffering. I see something else going on that I want to change, but I'm the one that's sick. And then if I'm sick, I can't
help.
I can't assist. I can't help. I can't serve. I can't support. I can't do any of those things, right? And so it becomes very, very practical, right? This is just like being on the airplane. It can still feel counterintuitive, right? Particularly if you're like sitting next to a loved one or a child, your instinct is to try to put that oxygen mask on the child first. But they tell us that every flight over and over and over again because it's critical, right? That those mere seconds, if I don't have the oxygen that I need, I'm not going to be able to assist Yolanda who's sitting next to me on the plane. I'm not.
And that's the important part. It only takes a few seconds to put this on and then help.
Right.
But we think, oh, well, if I spend any amount of time getting myself centered in this wisdom and this love, then it's going to be too late to respond. It's not. It's only a mere second of a check-in. Once you understand what you're checking into and learn how to listen for its response, not yours.
Yes. Practicing the love concept helps us develop a non-critical attitude toward life and people. We become less rigid, less fixed, less resistant to life and people when they do not follow our personal set of rules. The love concept helps us develop a more harmonious reaction than a negative one, even when life and people are not what we think they should be.
Hello, somebody.
That
That can be hard, though. That can feel hard. It can feel challenging. Because from your perspective, you think you know what they should do and how they should operate and where they should go and how they should live. But when you're in that position, you're in somebody else's business.
Yep.
As Byron Katie says. There's three kinds.
3 kinds of business.
God's business, your business, and everybody else's business.
Whose are you in?
Whose are you in?
And we're supposed to stay in our business. Just want to make sure y'all know that.
Right. You're supposed to be in your business.
Get out of God's business. Get out of their business. Stay in yours. How the love concept helps neighbors. It is easy to have a harmonious reaction toward life and people when everything is going our way. If we can also remain harmonious, non-resistant, and uncritical when things go wrong, then we are practicing the love concept and giving it a chance to make things right. Perhaps in ways we could not foresee.
Yep.
Again, this takes us back to the wisdom concept. The wisdom concept is all about surrender, recognizing that even with all of the information and intelligence that you have, you still don't have enough information and intelligence to adequately ascertain what's going on or to judge what's going on. And so when you learn to practice the love concept, non-resistant and uncritical, you make space for things to actually go right, for things to shift and change in a way that you could not foresee.
And sometimes when we focus in on it from that perspective of being critical, we think we're making or bringing about change, but we're not. We're actually in worry and fear. And so that lens of criticism, because the way the law works, doesn't bring solutions. It brings more things to criticize.
Thinking about when we did years back, we did the complaint-free challenge.
Yep, I was thinking about that too.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that comes up, right? That criticism is a veiled complaint, right? Because you're not operating in the love concept, right? You're not allowing whatever is to just be.
And really, what it is also is you're just letting your brain just ponder something. Doesn't mean that you're getting any insight out of it. Your brain is just working, which it does, right? It's just active. And you think that means you're coming up with solutions. It doesn't.
Nope. A woman heard of the love concept and decided to use it for a troublesome neighbor who often got very loud and disorderly. This neighbor would keep everyone in the neighborhood awake at night with his antics. As the woman began daily to decree that divine love was at work in the situation, producing perfect results, the neighbor became peaceful. Soon there were no more outbursts. Life is filled with opportunities for using the love concept, improving its harmonizing, adjusting, prospering power. We can begin testing it in the daily problems that confront us. One reason the love concept is so powerful is because the word love produces a positive, harmonious, magnetic current when deliberately sent forth. This love current will break up opposing thoughts of hate and render them powerless. I want to say this, as I've said in previous chapters, right? Not the English word love, right? Love is a vibration. Back of the English word love or the Spanish word amor or in any other language, there's a vibration that is this thing that we're calling love, right? And so anytime you invoke that energy in whatever language it is you're using, you're then invoking this harmonizing power. The thought of inharmony can be dissolved, not only in the mind of the one practicing the love concept, but also in the mind of everyone with whom they come in contact, so that countless people are harmonized and blessed by one person's practice of love. We've seen that, right? I'm hearing the words of Dr. Martin Luther King. I've decided to stick with love, right? He was literally embodying that. And because of that, he was able to harmonize and shift the hearts and minds of millions, right, as a result. The average person is not aware that he or she possesses this mighty power to dissolve all negative emotions, her own and others. Nor is the average person aware that the word love, when persistently used, will transform conditions in mind and body, financial affairs, or interpersonal relationships. Financial affairs. Have you ever affirmed the love concept for money?
Or your bills?
Right. People want to complain about bills. Give thanks. Give thanks.
And the reason we say that, we're not saying we want you to give thanks for debt.
Right.
What we're saying is the energy that someone extended to you, you now have the opportunity to now reciprocate and circulate in that way. That's a better way to look at it, as opposed to, I owe all of these people and I have all this debt. We're saying, no, someone extended and believed to give you that. So now you get to circulate money in return.
When you find yourself tempted to resist, resent, or criticize people, situations, or life in general, that is the time to use the love concept. I'm going to read that again. When you find yourself tempted to resist, resent, or criticize people, situations, or life in general, that is the time to use the love concept. By holding to thoughts of love, you remain harmonious as you bless the situation rather than add to the confusion. How the love concept heals. Many persons, as a result of unhappy childhood experiences, have resistant places in their subconscious mental areas that do not readily yield to the power of thought or the spoken word. Yet words of love repeatedly used dissolve those resistant areas. Metaphysicians have known for years that the word love reconstructs, rebuilds, and restores humanity and our world. If there is no one to turn to for prayers of love, a person can begin to heal themselves by invoking the love concept. A young boy awakened in the night with a severe toothache. Since there were no drugs in the house to relieve the pain, he began to declare over and over, God loves me, God is guiding me, God is showing me the way. The pain subsided. He drifted back to sleep and received permanent help from his dentist early the next morning. Along with developing a harmonious attitude toward life through the use of love affirmations, it is also wise to speak words of love to those in your personal world, your family and friends. An English doctor once told the Royal Society of Medicine in London, most people require a constant supply of appreciation for their mental health and personal happiness. If you've read or studied any of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, I'm thinking about You Are the Placebo. He talks a lot about how this energy, or writes a lot about how this energy is what's necessary when it comes to healing and shifting profound diagnoses. It is normal to need appreciation and kindness. Doctors have found that it is often the people who do not have enough appreciation and kindness in their lives who become physically sick or emotionally neurotic. That's not a scientific term.
It's not a scientific term,
problematic.
and it's problematic, and she's not anywhere in the field. So, let's
just say emotionally stagnant.
Let's say that.
Often words of love, appreciation, and kindness heal these people permanently. whereas the usual methods of treatment only cure them temporarily. A lady in her 80s was placed in the hospital with numerous aches and pains. After giving her many tests, those attending her could not decide specifically what her health problem was, though they feared she was suffering from a major disease. She remained hospitalized for weeks and received the finest of care, yet her physical discomfort continued. Her doctors finally stated that they could not agree on a diagnosis, and her family decided to take her home. Since she lived alone, a housekeeper was employed to take care for her. The housekeeper was a truth student who knew the healing power there is in feeling loved and appreciated. She told her patient funny stories and did many nice things for her. She often spoke words of appreciation to her, which made the patient very happy. Within a month, all the aches and pains were gone, and the previously sick, unhappy woman returned to an active, healthy life. Later, that wise housekeeper said to a friend, "TLC did it. Apparently, that's what she needed, tender, loving care." Love possesses marvelous powers. A good way to test its powers is by practicing the love concept with members of your own household. Why run hither and yon trying to find someone on whom to bestow love when those in your own family probably need it as much as anyone? If you really want to prove the marvelous power of love, begin at home.
And maybe also that beginning at home is beginning with you.
Yourself.
You know, we sometimes we go out and we extend and we extend and we extend love, but we haven't started from a full place, from a love tank that is overflowing. And so we keep giving and giving and giving. And if we're unconsciously understanding, it's because we think we are not enough, don't have enough, and are trying to glean it from somebody else. So we're going to give it out and expect them to give it. That's not the best use of your time or energy.
Yep. A well-known psychologist and marriage counselor has said that words can make or break a marriage. His advice is simple. Always look at your marriage partner with eyes of love. Praise, don't blame. There is plenty to praise if you look for it, so look for it. The freeing power of love. The love concept includes freeing those we love to find their good in their own way, rather than feeling that our love for them gives us the right to possess, dominate, or criticize them. True love frees, it does not bind. We never lose love by freeing it. Instead, through the act of release, we draw to us that love which is ours by divine right, and it becomes a stabilized, soul-satisfying form of love. Right? This is why the famous passage from Corinthians, right? That idea that it ends with, right? Love holds no record of wrongs, which I don't think people fully understand and hear what love is saying, right? It envieth not, right? It holds no record of wrongs. Love doesn't do any of those things. Love releases, love frees, right? Because it recognizes that which belongs to me will always come back. A mother once asked a friend, "How shall I prevent my daughter from marrying without my consent?" The answer given was an interesting one. By keeping your will in tune with the divine will. That takes us back to wisdom concept. Your daughter's will is worthy of consideration too. Your daughter, through the all-knowing mind within her, has chosen exactly the right avenue through which her soul may have its best training in the great school of life. In the infinite scheme of things, all apparent inequalities are being adjusted through the people and events she draws to her. You must relax and let them be so through the flow of events. All the challenges you meet in life are for your instruction as well as your daughter's. Your child is choosing according to an unerring law the path set forth by her subconscious history, and you have no right to any will other than the divine will in the matter. Ooh, that's powerful.
That's powerful. And it's that realization, right? We sometimes circumvent divine will with what we think divine will is. And so when it doesn't show up the way we think it should look, then we assume divine will is not operating. Divine will is always operating.
Yeah. Reminds me of a quote I read from Emmett Fox this week. And he said, most pious people relegate God to the vice presidency so that they can remain president. Right. And that's the energy of what we're doing, right? When it's like, oh, I know what to do, right? So God, you're the vice president. I'll call on you, if I need you.
If I need you to stand in when I go out for a minute. If I'm not feeling well one day.
But I'm the president, right? Let's be clear, right? And God needs to be the president in your life, and you
Right.
maybe need to be in the cabinet, maybe.
I was going to say, I don't even know if you need to be vice president, really.
Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. Perhaps you wish to save her from some experience you had. If the experience is necessary for her soul growth, you cannot prevent it, though you may postpone it. Ooh, that's powerful too. That's a powerful teaching. You can look at your own life and see that. So often we've used our will to postpone something in our own life or try to shield others. But when you prevented it, sometimes all you did was postpone it.
Right. All you did was postpone it. And that part before that sentence, perhaps you wish to save her from some experience you had.
That's projection.
You're projecting onto this person. You don't even know that you're even operating from the love principle because you're thinking about what you did wrong or didn't have or didn't get. And so you're like, oh, I'm going to shield her from that, how bad I felt. And what you felt about what didn't happen is legitimate.
Yeah.
And that is your experience. There is no way to say that she or he will have the very same experience.
Right.
Or that you, as it says, are preventing it. You're just postponing it.
Yeah.
If that is what is going to happen in that person's experience. But please make sure that you're not trying to give because you didn't have.
All of life is learning. If you would prevent your daughter's marrying against your will, then change your will. Affirm God's will in the matter. Then release her to the Father so that God's will, not yours, can become manifest. So powerful, so powerful.
So powerful.
Right? This is why we did a series earlier this year, Thy Will Be Done. Right? Understanding what this will is and what we're surrendering to. The affirmations suggested for the mother's use were, my love does not bind you, nor my need hold you. I release you to the Father, Mother. I am in true relationship with all people in all situations now. All things conform to the right thing in this situation now, quickly and in peace. I use that last sentence a lot personally, right?
Yep,
Anytime it's like, wait, I feel foolishness and I'm trying to be president. Right? No, wait, let me get out of this seat. All things conform to the right thing in the situation now, quickly and in peace. So often, well-meaning but possessive people have poured forth the substance of their love into the lives of other people and have depleted themselves.
We come back to that.
The love concept frees us from trying to run other people's lives or deplete our own. Divine love, this is a wonderful affirmation, is now working through me to adjust all the details of my life. Love transforms my life now.
Such a powerful one. If you don't have that in your Catherine Ponder list of affirmations, it is such a good one. Divine love is now working through me to adjust. So it's not like we're begging God to do these things. We're saying this so that we remember what's already possible and already happening. I allow divine love to adjust the details of my life, even the things that I think I got wrong. Even the mistakes I think I made, I now just step back and allow divine love to adjust it, to adjust the details. And love then begins to transform my life. It transforms it now, no matter what I did in the past.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love and wisdom united.
Dun, dun, dun.
On an ancient Greek temple were inscribed the words, love tempered with wisdom is the secret of life. Just got to say this because Catherine Ponder, I love her, but I did a lot of research, cannot find this phrase anywhere. The only place that I find it is there was a Unity minister decades prior to this that also made the same statement. So I think that's where she got it. But it's still a wonderful statement. Whether or not it's actually inscribed or was inscribed on an ancient Greek temple cannot be verified. Love tempered with wisdom is the secret of life. Whereas mind power unaccompanied by love can become cold and unloving, so love acting alone may become impulsive. This reminds me of Dr. King's words when he talks about love. He was writing about Black power, but he was talking about how if we're just talking about power, but love is not in the mix, right, it's going to be problematic. But if we're just talking about love, and we just get into this syrupy sweet thing, and it's like, no, power, right? Because what love is actually doing at its best is the picturing of justice, right? And so we need both. And so she's echoing something very similar here, right? Whereas mind power unaccompanied by love can become cold and unloving, so love acting alone may become impulsive. United with wisdom, love knows the true course so that discordant conditions of mind and body can be harmonized. As you set about developing the love and wisdom concepts, declare often, divine love and wisdom are united in me.
That's a good one.
The union of these two mind powers brings balance into your consciousness and your life. And this is then also, how do we get out of that, manifestor stage, manipulator stage, and start to move into the oneness stage, right? Start to move in this awareness of God operating through us and then as us. It's by marrying wisdom with love and affirming this: divine love and wisdom are united in me, working in me, through me, as me. If you have been mentally fighting anything in your life, rest your overworked mind and emotions by declaring often, divine love and wisdom are united in the situation, expressing through it perfectly. Then loose it and let it go. I bless every situation in my life with love and wisdom. Love and wisdom are united in me, expressing perfectly through every phase of my life now. Ahora, now, right? We always got to put now at the end of
I love that. I do add it a lot of the times to affirmations.
Yeah. A prayer statement which I placed under the glass on my desk several decades ago gradually helped transform my life. It was, I am the illumined child of God, filled with the spirit of divine love and wisdom by which I am guided in all my ways and now led into that which is for my highest good. All sorts of personal difficulties simply vanish when people daily meditate on the balancing powers of love and wisdom. Yes, yes, yes. So we encourage you, of course, to reread this chapter. We encourage you to come back to this masterclass, watch this again, dig into the concept, capture those affirmations, right? As PY said, we hope you're keeping a running list of those affirmations that really speak to you. As you read and reread this text, other ones will jump out. You'll be surprised. Why didn't I write this one down before? I know that happens to me all the time as I reread Catherine Ponder. And so we're confident that something powerful is happening and will happen as a result of you continuing to meditate on the love concept and what this is really about. Just as we said, the divine plan this is the easy way. The wisdom concept, this is the easy way. The love concept, this is the easy way. Yes, you can do all those other things in the first part of the book, but this easy way is the embodied way, right? This is now becoming a prosperous person truly, right? Not just wanting prosperity or prosperous things or prosperous outcomes. And then operating from a place of power, because then you know how to address, the wisdom concept, I need to remember that. I need to unite wisdom and love. I know what to affirm. I know how to speak. I know what to keep in front of me so that I'm not trying to be the president and making God the vice president. Right?
And as you reread this chapter, you might have questions. Please send us the questions, because this is actually a really good chapter to sit with and really apply it to things in your life that are happening. And then be like, okay, but I thought I understood what this meant, but based on how I'm showing up in the world, maybe I don't. Here's a question that I want to put to PY and PG. Or to the process to have it answered, because it probably will support someone else. And
remember that email address is truthsunday@celebration.sc.org. You can send your questions there, and we'll either answer you directly, sometimes if it's of a personal nature, or we will incorporate it into the masterclass. Well, in this moment, it is time for giving. Here at CSC, we say the same thing each and every week because it is the truth. As you give, you receive. And what we mean by that is it is what is back of behind the thinking in your giving is what you actually receive. It's not the monetary amount that you give. You will receive that monetary amount. That's just not it, right? That's just a menial way of thinking about this principle. But actually, as you give in consciousness, if you're giving from a place of fear, if you're giving from a place of doubt, if you're giving from a place of obligation, right, which a lot of churches have taught us to do, then you're not going to receive the full totality, the full blessing of giving. Now, giving to CSC is very easy, right? You can go to our website, celebrationsc.org/give, or you can text your dollar amount to 347-744-9500. There is a $10 minimum to text to give. And as we shared earlier in the announcements, you can now use the Church Center app. So if you have that app already on your phone, you'll see there's the tab to give. You can enter your dollar amount. You can give via a number of different ways, including Apple Pay, which we know is convenient for many. But we know and trust that whichever way you choose to give, that you will give in love, that you will give with joy, because that's the vibration that must be back of and behind and underneath your giving. And when you give in that way, when you give from that consciousness, then you can affirm this confidently. All the money that I circulate.
All the money that I circulate.
Returns to me multiplied.
Returns to me multiplied.
In a never-ending cycle.
In a never-ending cycle.
Of increase.
Of increase.
And enjoyment.
And enjoyment.
To that we say amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is. Well, we are so grateful to have spent this time together in our weekend service. We have come to the close of our service. For those of you that are in the Prosperity Circle, we'll be gathering together at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our final Prosperity Circle session. For those of you that are not a part of the Prosperity Circle, we look forward to being together on Wednesday for the Momentum Prayer Call, and then we will be back together again next Sunday as we are studying chapter 10 in the Masterclass. We must remind you all again, do not move forward, right? Stick with the chapter that we're on. This week is the chapter 9 chapter. If you want to go back to previous chapters, by all means. If you want to go back and watch one of the previous classes from June through July, by all means. But let's stay together. Let's stay where we are, and we will wrap this all up together in the coming weeks. We love you. We appreciate you. Bye for now.
Bye for now.